Commissioner Baidoon has requested an excuse.
And he'll be here in a few minutes. Go ahead.
Commissioner Palomero,
Here.
Chair Mareki,
Here.
you have a quorum present.
Okay, thank you. And you can also use your computer. All right, next item, please.
B, Chairwoman's remarks.
I have none. Next item.
C, approve the April 2nd, 2024 meeting minutes.
Make sure your mics are on too. Okay, we have an approval and support. Any questions, changes? All those in favor, say aye. Oh, you can vote on your computers.
Motion carried.
Okay, next item.
Item 1, under unfinished business, an update on the status of Newburgh Mill.
Okay, thank you. Are there people here on this update? Is there a person here on the update?
I suppose that would be me. Good morning, Jim Jernigan, Assistant Corporation Counsel. Just wanted to let this body know that through the chair, we have engaged in discussions with the developer. He has expressed a great desire and an excitement to move forward with this project. As this body knows, we just completed the Wilcox Mill closing within the last few months. And so he has turned his attention to this. And like I say, we did have a conversation with him just a couple of days ago. And we hope to have a conversation at the end of this week to get some more clarity on exactly how this is going to move forward.
Okay, and so things are working out with the horse barn site.
Yes, there are some proposed plans that have been discussed. Nothing's definitive as of right now. But we are, I think, well on our way to moving this along.
Okay, is anything going to have to come back to the commission for any kind of extension, that type of thing? Good morning, Michelle.
Chair Michelle Yancey, Wayne County DPS admin. Alicia Bradford, the Director of Parks, is on Zoom with us today.
Oh,
okay.
So she can answer any additional questions that you might have regarding item number.
Okay, I just want to know.
Probably. The short answer is yes, probably for some extensions and some, we're going to dig back into the agreement here. And if something needs to come back, obviously we'll bring it back as promptly as possible. But the short answer is probably.
And a site plan was submitted at one point, right?
There was something that was floating around. I don't know, how complete it was, whether it was just a rendering, whether it was a complete architectural drawing. I really am not sure.
Okay. Good morning, Alicia.
Yes, good morning, Madam Chair. How are you? Commission, excuse my voice. I'm a little under the weather, battling some cold symptoms. And thank you, Mr. Jernigan, for your response. But Jim is correct. There's just been a conceptual site drawing that's been circulated. We do not have any architectural drawings as we're still vetting out exact location. We do have a priority location, but we're again reviewing that for full completion in order to give Mr. D'Onofrio full approval to move forward with the architectural design for that location.
Okay, so are things worked out with the sewer, the Wayne County sewer issue, that type of thing for the Dearborn Heights area where the horse barn is supposed to go?
Well, there was not really an issue with the sewer. It was just really, as we're looking at conceptual drawings, just looking at the exact layout, if will it impact any of our sewage drain systems and working with Mr. Cullen. But there's not any area concern of that. Again, we're going to determine if that is the best site and then have the developer move forward with the architectural drawings for that. But they're aware of the sewer Rouge Valley exchange system that is through that area. And so it's a conceptual layout that has worked around those connections there within that location.
Okay. Well, I'm glad to hear it's moving along because it's been a while. And I'm sure with them owning all three of these mills now, they probably want to get moving on this. Are there any questions? I just thought it was important to have just an update on what's going on. And if you guys haven't been to the Wilcox Mill, it turned out great. There's a lot of activities there. So hopefully this next one with Newburgh will progress. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you, Alicia, for joining us, even though you don't feel good.
Thank you.
And I'd just like to note that Commissioner Baydoun is here. That's right. All right, next item, Madam Clerk.
Moving to item 1 under new business, forwarding a copy of the detailed completion status of all park projects in the capital improvement plan.
Okay. This is a nice nice chart for all of us to see what we've been doing with the park money these last few years. Any questions on this? All right, next item.
Item 2, requesting commission approval of retroactive amendment numbers 2 and 3 to a 1-year comparable source contract with International Chemtex Corporation to continue providing water treatments for various boilers at 9 county locations.
Okay, if you'll all note that, yes, please, Greg. You'll all note that you have a document in front of you because some of it was cut off in the agenda. So that was more of the fiscal agency response, right? It's cut off.
Fiscal and policy.
I'm sorry.
Fiscal and policy.
Fiscal and policy. Oh, there, okay. Fiscal and policy. Okay, so this is a retroactive contract.
Yes, good morning to the chair.
Good morning.
Greg Hurst, Director of Facilities Management and Planning. So my understanding, there are 2 parts to this. There's Amendment 2, which refers to May 21st of 2022 through May 20th of 23. And then also Amendment 3, which takes us from May of 23 to May of 25, extending the contract. So to date, for currently as we sit, for Amendment 3, from that point, there's been no expenditures with Chemtex. I believe prior to that, there was a purchase order that did exist pertaining to that original contract. But to date, for the renewal from 23 through 25, the department has not expended any funds on that with this company. This does cover our boiler treatments to, of course, make sure we extend the life of the boilers through our normal maintenance. And so we use Chemtex for the chemicals that we use for those treatments.
Okay, Commissioner Kinlock.
That's not this. I had a question about another item.
Okay,
Yeah.
because this is for this item, right?
Yes.
Okay, right. Okay, and why was it retroactive? What happened with this?
So it's retroactive because this contract has expired, but we would like to amend it to continue services with the company to continue to treat the boilers.
Okay, you
And I
just didn't get it in time to.
Right, it wasn't complete in time. So in order to make sure we were still, in compliance, we were not expensing anything against the contract. So we were, of course, waiting until that was approved so that we can start using the company, using that company for the chemicals for boiler treatments.
Okay. No questions on this? I realize every time you get up here, Greg, it's about a retroactive. So I know that will be changing as you have more time here.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you. You might be here for
For the
the
next
next item.
Yes.
Madam Clerk, next item.
Item 3, requesting commission approval of retroactive amendment 4 to a cooperative agreement with Kone Inc. to continue routine and non-routine elevator, escalator maintenance at various county locations.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, so this item actually was brought in front of the full board, I believe, back in November. However, it was noticed that that contract was going to expire December 31st of 23. So the decision, and we were also going through an active RFP for these same services. We found that we would not have the RFP completed by December 31st. So this was brought previously. Oh, so we retracted the document to extend the contract through June 30th of this year to allow for the RFP to be completed and for us to have a new contract. So it was previously brought, we removed it, and then we're bringing it back now. And this contract would expire in June 30th or on June 30th.
of this year.
Correct.
So this is going to probably change as we move into the new center, right?
Correct. So the new contract where we're completing the RFP will be representative of potentially the buildings that we have now until they transfer over to the CJC. And then we'll make sure that we have a contract to cover all elevators. However, we don't anticipate the RFP that went out to cover the CJC elevators.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Okay. So you'll have to amend that.
No, we're looking because of the those being new elevators and being under a warranty, we don't want to have another provider take care of those so that we can maintain our warranties with those elevators.
Okay, got it. Any question? Go ahead, Commissioner
I
Kinlaw.
would imagine because it's an entirely new facility that will be a factor in the number of components or parts of the CJC, where they're under warranty and that those warranties may have certain requirements as far as how they're to be serviced and maintained.
Sure. So what we'll say, because the RFP is not officially closed, so can't speak to that, but we want to make sure that in regards to Kone, Kone is not the installer for the new elevators. So depending on, how that ends up, we'll make sure that the CJC elevators are covered to where we don't void any warranty and maintain good service standing at minimum during that warranty period.
For all of the various aspects that have warranties.
Correct, absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
that
But
goes
in
without
regards to
That-
elevators,
that's-
yeah.
Okay.
That makes sense. Any other questions? All right, thank you. Next item.
Item 4, requesting commission approval of a contract with the Michigan Department of Transportation for road improvements along Oakwood Boulevard in the city of Dearborn.
Okay, this is with MDOT. Commissioner Baydoun, do you have any questions on this?
Yes, I have a question. So is this gonna be a 4-year project, Sammy? Says it goes through September 30th of 2028.
Well, good morning, everybody. This is Sammy County Director of Engineering. Yeah, we're hoping the project will start very soon. We're gearing up for it. It's an MDOT contract project. And it's supposed to be we're hoping by the end of next year, fall 25, if everything goes well with no issues.
Oh, okay. So why would they have through September of 2028?
Yeah, usually the contract
Mhm.
life is a little bit longer than the actual construction season.
I didn't look at the notes. Do you know approximately the lane miles or how the length of this improvement?
This is gonna be from Beach to
I know
Rotunda.
we're Beach to Rotunda. I'm trying to visualize. It's gonna be in both direction, I'm assuming, right?
There are some sections will be a boulevard sections, yes.
All right. Thank you, Sammy.
You're welcome.
Okay, this is a $10 million, over a $10 million project. We're gonna have another item in a few minutes on this as well. Any more questions on this? Okay, next item, Madam Clerk.
Item 5, requesting commission approval of a contract with the Michigan Department of Transportation for road improvements along Wayne Road in the city of Westland.
Okay, this is $1.2 million, Wayne Road from Glenwood to Palmer in Westland. Questions on this? Next item.
Item 6, requesting commission approval of a contract with the Michigan Department of Transportation for road improvements along Easter Road in the city of Inkster.
$500,000 project with MDOT. Questions? Next item.
Item 7, requesting commission approval of an addendum to a 1-year cooperative agreement with Clear Heights Construction to construct and install a salt storage facility at the Wayne County Parkview Yard in Plymouth Township.
Okay, anybody here on this? Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
you want to introduce yourselves and just tell us about this?
Yes, good morning. Scott Cablewatten, Deputy Director of the Department of Public Services, and with me today we have
Steve Shand, Division Director, Wayne County Roads,
Okay.
Maintenance Division.
Yeah, so this is new? I
Yeah,
mean,
so
have they
this-
started this yet?
No, they have not. So this is a new structure that we're going to place on existing county parks property. The county parks maintenance facility, the Parkview Yard, over in the area of Hines Drive and Northville Road and Wilcox Road area there. This is actually a replacement, this is a salt facility. When we closed the Phoenix Yard many years ago, over at Phoenix Lake, we also lost our salt dome over in that area. So we have a lot of what we call windshield time, going back when we're up in the Northville area, Plymouth area, salting. We have a lot of windshield time going back to our Norton Yard. Our closest salt dome is at Norton Yard, which is Inkster and I-96 area. So there's a lot of time lost going to and from those routes up in the very northwest portion of the county. So in order to enhance performance and reduce downtime going to and from, as well as from a green standpoint, carbon footprint. We are putting in this facility over at, or we're proposing to put this facility over at the Parkview Yard to just better serve the residents of the county.
Okay. Anything from you, Steve?
Pretty much said it all.
Okay. Any questions on this? Do you expect it'll be done in time for winter?
Yeah, these are pretty easy structures. Once we get through the purchase process and the approval process, these are pretty easy structures to throw up, and they're canvas in nature, and they're lightweight aluminum. You've seen them probably more than you really think about it. They're just domed canvas buildings with concrete foundation and concrete floor.
Will you need to order more salt than usual next year?
No.
This year? I mean, I'm sure we have a lot left over this
A
year.
lot of salt.
Yeah.
Right now, believe it or not.
Yeah.
We're still
Believe
hoping to
it.
do a snow dance, but no, we will not need any more salt. We'll reappropriate and reallocate some of our salt because our number of routes isn't changing. Our number of tons that we're anticipating to use throughout the system isn't going to change. It's just where it's strategically placed.
Sounds
If I can just add to, this will allow us to be a much quicker response.
Yep.
To serve the northwestern quadrant of Wayne County.
Sounds
So,
good. Yeah, going all the way
that's
back to
the-
Inkster in 96, that's a long way, especially if there's traffic. Okay, any questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, next item.
Item 8, requesting commission approval of a memorandum of understanding with the Motor City Mountain Biking Association to maintain and expand the county's mountain bike trail network.
Okay, Director Bradford is still on.
Yes, I am Alicia Bradford, DPS Parks Division Director and Madam Chair in the Commission. This is an agreement we have with Motor City Mountain Biking Association, which has been a volunteer organization that's been working with Wayne County Parks. As we look to expand our connection, we do it through our trails, our non-motorized road access, and our waterways. So Motor City Mountain Biking Association has been working under the Motor City Mountain Biking overall standards and putting those trails within our park system. They have been doing an exceptional job that allow off-road mountain biking, fat tire mountain biking. They work with our team in order to identify areas in order to put in trail systems. They help and work with our team in order to put the signage, appropriate signage. They also do volunteer work to making sure that the trails are kept clean and maintained. So we just wanted to codify this agreement through an understanding for specific requirements that they have with the county, and as well as what we have in review and approval of certain aspects of their work as well.
And this is to no cost to the county, right?
This is no cost to us, just our staff time in order reviewing their plans proposal. But they do this all of their own expense. We do allow certain fundraisers that are approved through us with other reporting back through Wayne County Parks, but there's no expense to us. They do this all on their funding, all of their pockets, all of their volunteer time in order to create these trails for us within our park system.
Well, that's great. I mean, especially doing fundraising to do this. This is really nice. Any questions on this? Anybody want to try out the mountain bike trails? Jonathan, we'll get you a bike. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure Mr. Flack and Mr. Hurst, the leads for that, Dave Hurst and Mike Flack, who's been the lead, they would look forward to our commissioners coming out to enjoy the trails.
Yeah, how about that, Sam? Okay. All right, thank you.
My
Next
pleasure.
item, Madam Clerk.
Item 9, requesting commission approval of Amendment 1 to a 5-year professional services contract with a 1-year option to renew with SQS Inc., DBA ERG Environmental Services to continue to provide on-demand cleanup and/or disposal of hazardous and non-hazardous waste from county road rights-of-way for the Department of Public Services Roads Division.
All right, anybody? Good morning again.
Good morning, County Commissioners. Steve Shea, Division Director, Wayne County Roads Maintenance. So pretty much this contract is just to give you a little summary about this. Back in June of 2023, the department did receive a complaint regarding flooding in alleyways in the city of Trenton, right behind Man's Lumber. While investigating that complaint, it was observed that some fuel smells were coming out of few manholes. And it was later determined it was xylene. So the city went ahead, the county went ahead, beg your pardon, and took the necessary steps to remove the chemical on that. We went ahead and started jetting manholes and doing some major cleanup over there. So this is what it's about. It's extending the contract because we're still in the middle of working with the railroad company and accessing port of entry to that area and doing the cleanup.
So this is primarily focused on Trenton still.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Questions on this? Great, thank you. Next item.
Item 10, requesting commission approval of Amendment 1 to a 3-year contract with 2 1-year options to renew with RNA Facilities Management to continue mowing and herbicide application.
Okay. Someone on this? Oh, Steve, I'm sorry. I should have asked you if you were on this next one. I just think this is an interest to all commissioners
Sure.
to know this.
Good morning, again, Commissioners. Steve
Morning.
Shea, Division Director of Wayne County Roads Maintenance Division. So RNA is one of the vendors that does boulevard mowing. They're situated on the east side of the county. Again, we have the 12 cycles of mowing, as you all know from previous contract. It's 2 cycles per week. And we also do 2 cycles of herbicide application. That herbicide is Momentum, broad leaf weed killer. So that usually happens before they start the mowing and then after, which is usually like the start is May 1st and then the end is October 1st.
Okay.
So that's what this is. It's an
And how
extension
many-
of their
do you know how many
contract.
boulevards we even have?
Well, I can tell you the acreage.
Okay,
Yeah, so I believe it's 163.5 acres.
okay. All right, I'll make sure I mention this at full board so everybody knows this is happening.
Correct.
Commissioner Baydun?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Steve, does this specifically address the boulevards in Wayne County?
Yeah.
What about MDOTs like Ford Road, like runs through Dearborn, the median? A lot of times that grass gets tall and we get a lot of complaining. We have to call the county to get it cut. Because I know sometimes we maintain that on behalf of MDOT, don't we?
Right, so MDOT has their own landscaping companies that handles that, especially service areas, some of their
Also,
boulevards.
we
Yeah.
don't cut these medians between MDOT roads like Ford Road, Telegraph. we
Right,
don't do
though,
that.
again, they have their own vendors and
Okay.
landscaping companies.
All right.
Okay, good. It's good clarification.
Yeah.
All right, did you have something?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay. Wait, don't leave. I just want to make sure you don't have the next one.
When they call me to the complaint, tell them to call MDOT.
Yeah, we should have an MDOT
Well,
number.
I mean, if you like, you can, send it to me and I'd be more than happy to forward that complaint to
Okay.
MDOT. We
Okay,
work very close with them, so,
Good.
yeah,
good.
that sounds good. All right, thank you.
yes, ma'am.
All right, next item.
Item 11, requesting commission approval of an intergovernmental agreement with the city of Livonia for improvements to Inkster Road from Schoolcraft Road to 5 Mile Road.
Okay, yay, this is where I grew up, right there, so nice to see that being done. Any questions on this? Okay, next item.
Item 12, requesting commission approval of Amendment 6 to a 3-year lease agreement with 4 one-year options to renew with Jefferson Land, Inc. to continue renting 102,152 square feet and to rent an additional 3,270 square feet at the Vigliotti Building to provide document storage space for the clerks and prosecutors' offices and a meeting space for the Wayne County Board of Canvassers.
Okay. Go ahead, Greg.
Okay, good morning again.
Good
Greg
morning.
Kirsch, Director of Facilities Management and Planning. So this is the lease to store documents, archive documents at the Vigliotti Building. This is the one of the 4 one-year extensions, but we are also maximizing the amount of space that we're using, available space that is being used there or available to the county for lease. And that's where the additional 3,200 and some square feet are being added to this contract or lease agreement.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
Okay, as I mentioned, each time you're here and we talk about leasing space, this all feeds into the fact that we require space, not just for the short term, but for the long term. Very wonderful location for the clerk's operations, for the Board of Canvassers to serve or work from. But how is this building into, or how is it being thought in establishing a permanent location for all the necessary square footage that's required, not just for the clerk's office, but for all of county operations? This is a lot of money. We could probably build on a lot of stuff. And so I'm just understanding, the timeline. So
Sure.
I know what the answer is, but I just want to get it on a record and then also keep it at the forefront.
Absolutely. So there's several initiatives that we're looking at. And again, one of the initiatives when I first came to the county, nearly a year ago now, it's going pretty quick, was to look at that portfolio to see if there are opportunities. So we are continuously doing that internally with the planning and real estate side of my department. And what that looks like is looking at the footprint of what the city offers, what kind of spaces are out there, whether it's warehouse versus office. Right now, an office building is fairly easy to come by. Warehouse, not so much. So we have to be cognizant of that. As we're looking and creating what that plan of action could look like, the other fiduciary responsibility that we have is to continue to have a space to house the vehicles, not the vehicles, but the files in accordance to the ordinance. So what this does is allows us to continue that while we're developing a plan of action that hopefully we'll be able to bring in front or bring something, I would say, as far as what planning can look like for the future of Wayne County buildings, including all of those that are leased.
So one thing that I want, I know that there was a building committee. I think that was just to review current needs. But I think that I'll talk with the chair. And I think we probably need to, get in on that conversation a little bit more and have a task force that meets regularly to keep it at the forefront of all of our minds and try to expedite it, in ways that we can. Yeah.
And Commissioner Kinloch, I appreciate that. There is a committee that is apprised of several board members, as you mentioned, that does meet.
Does that include commissioners as well?
There are several commissioners that are on that committee.
Okay, so
Yes.
so that committee that the commission set up, that's part of what this committee does is?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. That is
So
something.
y'all need to
that-
hurry up. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay, thanks. Yeah.
But yes, that is in existence. And so that's the second part to it.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
So it looks like that we were using space without commission approval during the last, how many months? And we owe like almost 13,000 for that.
Yeah, I think that lent to more of a misunderstanding of communication between what was leased and what was available to be leased. And so there was the issue where it turns out that there was the 3,200 square feet that was not under contract. And then once we were made aware that was the case, then we immediately talked to the owner so that we could work that out and then, bring this in front of the commission.
Morning.
Good morning. How's everyone doing? Hi, I'm Dwayne Seals, Chief Deputy Clerk for Wayne County. As far as the extra space, as you know, there were a number of boxes that were located or became realized to the clerk class back in January over at the HQ building. Because we're moving to the CJC building, they need to move those boxes and put those boxes underneath the clerk's purview. So therefore, we had to move those immediately over into the big building. So that's why the extra space that came out, we had to use that right away. But it wasn't any fault of the clerk. It was definitely something that the clerk didn't know those boxes, 20,000 boxes were sitting over at the HQ building. And we had to get those boxes out of there and move them to the big building. And because of that, that's why the extra space came in.
So now there's no storage in CJC, right? So that's kind of what Commissioner Kinlock's talking about, if we're going to consolidate all this and look into the future. Dwayne, I have a question. I don't know if you know this, but since we're in the process of scanning many documents, with state law, if you scan a document, do you still have to hold the paper document like it used to be having to be held?
Well, I think it depends on the document. Certain documents have to be kept.
No matter what, if you scan them or
No
not?
matter what, we have to
Okay.
keep those. And then there are some documents, once they're actually put in some type of electronic form, we can discard or actually destroy the paper copy of those documents.
And
And we're constantly going through, looking at which documents can be scanned. As was mentioned, the prosecutor, they bring documents over, so they determine which documents can be scanned and cannot be scanned. But not only the prosecutors, basically the clerk is the keeper of all archive records. So therefore, everyone would be sending records over there, prosecutors, register of deeds, commission, so
Right.
forth, would all be over there.
So there's actually some documents that you cannot scan.
There are some we cannot scan,
Okay.
but there are quite a few that we can, and we actually been working with Wayne County as far as trying to figure out the retention schedule. And as far as having the company go over and scan, destroy some of those documents too. And I think we were able to destroy a number of boxes from the sheriff's office and so forth though. So we are looking at and purging those documents as they come, as that retention schedule comes up.
Overwhelming. Commissioner Kinlock?
Can you all provide, I guess, a calendar or a list of statutory retention requirements?
Right. Those retention requirements are actually based upon each division or department. They actually notify us when those records can be destroyed. So we don't know. We actually
Well, I'm
contact.
saying, are there, like statutory requirements and even those that exist because of county policy, whatever, the retention?
I can look into as far as contacting the different divisions of elected offices, but we don't, for example, the prosecutor, we don't know what their retention schedule. They tell us, we say we have these boxes in this area. Can those boxes be destroyed or purged? And they come over and let us know.
Okay.
Yeah, it's quite even at the local level, like with it's a lot of work. So I can't even imagine at a county level what it's like. Well, thank you, Dwayne. Nice seeing you.
Thank you very much. Nice to meet you.
Any more questions on this? I think you're up for the next one, Greg.
I am.
Okay, Madam Clerk?
Item 13, requesting commission approval of Amendment 2 to a 3-month professional services contract with 2 one-year options to renew with shelving and rack systems for additional pallet storage racks and installation services at the Bigliotti Building for document storage related to the criminal justice complex.
Okay, so for this item, it's at the VIG. So this is extending or maximizing the amount of boxes that can be stored at the building. So as we are working with Dwayne and then with the different departments that are moving out of their current buildings into the CJC, there are 2 efforts at this building that we have to be cognizant of. One is all of those boxes coming in from the buildings that are going to the CJC, but then also allowing for space as well for any additional boxes that may, you know, the clerks in the different departments from other buildings may still need space for. So one of the things we did was I had a chance to work with this company and several others to walk the space and see how we could maybe reorganize and restructure how we use the space to maximize the amount of boxes that we can add. So what this would allow us to do is add upwards to about 24,000 boxes that would allow us to maneuver all of the CJC, but then also, again, allow room for any other boxes under the clerk's purview while Dwayne works with the different stakeholders to figure out how we can purge and then, you know, do those other things that will help us manage or help them manage that space. But there is an additional need for boxes right now, or for space for boxes.
So when you say maneuver CJC, are some of these going into the CJC or all
No,
of them?
these would be for those stakeholders that are leaving their current buildings, moving into the CJC. So yeah, that building was not designed for archived and long-term
Right.
storage spaces for boxes.
Right.
You know,
Commissioner Kinloch?
Since I've been here for 3 years, the VIG, send it to VIG at some point it's going to reach capacity. So I'm glad you did the walkthrough because all I'm hearing is the VIG. I'm like, at what point will it become, you know, reach capacity? So you feel that there's enough cushion there?
So this would, I would say, based on what we know is known to come from the remaining boxes or the remaining records from those companies or those divisions that are going into the CJC for those stakeholders. This would allow us room for that, but then also make it so that it's not impeding on the additional, on the daily services with other records that are consistently coming in to the Vigliati. So for the time being, this should solve that issue. But then you have the more long-term issue, to your point, Commissioner Kinloch, no matter how large the space is, at some point it can become full. But this is a solution for today, and we'll need to continue to look at that later as well.
Sure. Okay, any more questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Next item.
Item 14, requesting commission approval of an agreement with Ford Motor Company for improvements to Oakwood Boulevard from Beach Street to west of Rotunda Drive in the city of Dearborn.
Okay, this is piggybacking on the other contract we talked about at Rotunda. And this is with Ford. Ford's putting in money for this. Any questions, Commissioner Baydun, on this
No.
one?
Welcome views.
Okay. Any other questions? Next item, please.
Item 15, requesting commission approval of modification 2 to a 5-year contract with HNTB Michigan to continue providing a comprehensive asset management analysis on the condition of county roads infrastructure.
Okay. Someone here on this?
Good morning.
Good
again.
morning.
Sammy County Director of Engineering.
Good morning, Jeremy Papuga, HNTV Corporation.
Oh, good. Okay. All right. Will you tell us about what you were going to do for this extension? And give us a little background, because I don't know if all the commissioners were here when we hired you originally.
Great. Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. Madam Chair, members of the commission, HNTV has been providing transportation asset management services for Wayne County. We've been developing the annual capital investment program and also just last year passed the county's second transportation asset management plan. So what this amendment will allow us to do is continue 3 things. One, continue the PASER ratings for the roadway condition assessments this summer. So there'll be continue to be a comprehensive record of the pavement condition in Wayne County. And additionally, this year, Sammy's talked about having his staff go along with us, which provides a great professional development opportunity for Wayne County staff. Number 2, bridge condition assessments. We're going to, again, take our annual look at the bridge condition to ensure that the maintenance strategies for those bridges are current and up to date. And number 3, work towards work with the county to start to develop a local road program white paper to get a comprehensive understanding of what the best approach will be for that program moving forward. And so that white paper will have several recommendations for the county to consider on how to approach that moving forward.
Okay, that's great. I know Commissioner Kinlock and I are very interested in that.
Yeah.
And he was instrumental in getting money put into that
Yeah.
Township Road Initiative. So there's $6 million put into that. And Scott, did you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sorry, Scott.
My apologies. Again, Scott Campbell-Watton, Deputy Director of the Department of Public Service. I'm good, Sam.
So I was really glad going through this to see what you mentioned is the third
Yeah.
item. I have one quick question. How often do you do the PACER ratings? Do you go to get the whole county done?
So it takes 2 years to get
Okay.
the entire county done. So
Okay.
we do half and half each year. Yeah, so this year we'll.
All county roads or just the main roads,
Primary,
primary
we
roads?
do primary road, these are the federally funded, the roads we do every year.
The primary roads?
Yes.
Okay, so this road township initiative, you wouldn't be necessarily going in and doing any kind of testing on the township neighborhood roads, secondary roads. You're just gonna be advising on what kind of program to put into place.
Correct. I mean, that may be something that they consider as part of the local road program, but what we're gonna do is make sure that we understand what the county's goals and objectives are and set up a couple of alternatives, how you might approach that program. It could be doing condition assessments for all those roadways, or a different alternative might be to get, priority, there are different ways to approach it. And so we're gonna sort of lay those out and make a recommendation with.
And of course, I mean, some counties have road commissions who can do whatever they want. We don't have that anymore. But if you ever need like commissioners for feedback or anything, I'm sure
We'd
be
know
happy to
there's,
do that.
we know there's plenty of folks that have firsthand knowledge of our residential township roads and our primaries as well. And I do want to just touch on something as far as the PACER rating on the residential roads. This amendment is not going to address PACER ratings on residential roads. However, there are some communities that have taken some initiative and gone ahead and had PACER ratings done, both on the municipal, on the city side, as well as the township side. So while we at the county are not doing the assessment on the residential township roads, there may be some townships that do have PACER ratings, just like there are some townships that have gone ahead and had the ability to pass their own millage to support county road repairs and initiatives as well. So.
And we've sent over, at least my office has sent over pictures that you don't even probably have to have a rating on, just looking
Yeah.
at the pictures. So there's a lot of information out there for different roads.
But this is important just from an aspect of, this will give us, we're really looking at a fair and equitable way to distribute, that township initiative, township road initiative, whatever we're formulating and calling it. This will give us a fair and equitable way to look at that. There's different ways that, as you referred, county road commissions, when we've looked at other road commissions, and HMTB's been, has worked with many of these county road commissions and developed plans, if I'm not mistaken. Correct, Jeremy. And there's just, some counties handle it a lot different, and some people may not like how that county works, and because it kind of loads the deck to those that bring a lot of money to the table, and others, it makes it a little bit more fair and equitable. So just, those are the things that we're really looking forward to working with HNTB on, to make sure that we bring a program that works for all.
I have a lot of ideas if you want to hear any of them, but Commissioner Kinlock?
Yes, so I got a great name for it, Township Roadway Stabilization Program. I like that.
Okay.
Okay, so.
We'll put that on the idea.
Absolutely, put that in the little fishbowl. Let me just also say, a couple of questions. How far along, because we're going into the next fiscal year, how far along are you with preparing some sort of final plan or recommendation?
We think it's going to be fairly quick. I mean, HNTB's, they're well versed in this process. We have not started it because we haven't had a contract to work on that with them.
So that's new to me because I was thinking that there was some existing contract that this was.
Not this part.
Not
But
this
not-
part,
not
not
this
this part
part,
was not.
But there are
included.
some parts of it that have been moving forward.
Yeah, like the 10-year asset management plan, which
Okay.
is HNTB as well.
So there's a few different
There's
parts.
a few different components,
Okay,
but yeah,
okay.
this is the township road initiative or, whatever.
Or
we're
whatever-
gonna call
whatever, I'm
it.
just joking.
But that is something that was not included as part of the original contract.
Okay.
And so that's part of why we're amending that and then looking forward here to getting that out
And-
relatively quickly.
And so you're thinking the timeline, how,
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
so, we're developing our work plan right now. Right now, we're
Okay.
targeting the middle of July to have recommendations to the county.
and
So-
then they'll
Yeah.
float out. Okay, thank you.
Okay, that's great news, because this is just an 8-month extension, correct?
Correct.
And this is like prime weather to start getting some of this stuff looked at or done, or, so
Exactly.
that would be great.
Yeah.
Okay. Commissioner Haydes, put your mic on.
My mind. Problem in those areas. Way before me, and it will be way after me, between township and the county services. And I know the county contract many of those services. And I want to bring this to the county's attention. Maybe they should look sometime to some of the services that the township could do to contract with them. It's been lots of requests in that area. And that it's a win-win situation. If you contract the township, you eliminate too many of the complaint and the blame to the county. Because at the present time, anything that belongs to the county or not, the township tell the resident, it's the county, it's the county. And I have to sort it out and tell the resident the truth. But I felt it's a problem. I experienced that in the city of Wayne with the state of Michigan on Michigan Avenue. They used to contract Wayne County. In Wayne County, underestimate the money we spent for downtown revitalization. Michigan Avenue go through downtown, we spend a lot of money to put decorative light and gravel sidewalk. And here the median look like a jungle. And then finally, I said, why don't you contract with us? And we could cut Michigan Avenue. We work through the county and the state. They finally contract us. Instead of cut it one time every 2-3 months, we cut it twice a month and resolve the problem. So I think the solution is to contract with the township sometime. It eliminate lots of a problem instead of bring contractor from outside and still have a lot of problem. It's an idea. We need to discuss it and chew on it, but I've been trying to do that for the last 10 years and no response on that, but I still say it's the right thing. If their services the township could provide, we should contract with them.
And we can take a look at, everything's on the
Yeah,
table,
yeah,
Commissioner.
yeah.
Everything's on the table. We can look at those. As we beef up our staffing, we're starting to see an increase in staffing, whether it's engineers, whether it's roads maintenance workers. We're looking even at, other services. All things are on the table in the department. So.
Excellent.
Okay. Any other questions? Well, great. And I'll be updating. I will mention this as full board as well. So commissioners that have townships know there's something going forward. So thank you.
Right.
Thanks
Yeah.
for being here
Yeah,
too.
of course.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next item.
Item 16, requesting commission approval of a 3-year professional services contract with a 1-year option to renew with Alfred Benesch and Company for construction engineering services for construction on Toledo Road in the city of Lincoln Park.
All right, is someone here on this? I just have a couple questions. Morning.
Good morning
again.
again.
Hi again.
Introduce yourselves
Sammy
again.
Caldi, Director of Engineering.
Scott Campbell-Watton, Deputy Director, Department of Public Services.
Okay. Now this is for engineering services on Toledo Road from I-75 to Southfield in Lincoln Park. I have a question. Do you guys have the evaluation form in front of you? I don't know if you have that. Okay, I just have a question, and I had a question last 2 weeks ago too. Something has piqued my interest in some of these things. Banesh got a total of 100 points in this, and so did OHM. So how do you determine who's the most qualified bidder in this? I know it goes through the, what's it called? The BidNet direct. So how does this work then? BidNet gets these bids, then it comes into the county, and then we have our own committee who looks at the bids. And some of that appears to be not, some of it's subjective, it looks like. Some of it might be objective, but like in this particular case, why would Banesh get this and not OHM when they had the same amount of points?
Yeah, I continue just a little bit about the process, how we select a vendor. Typically, when it goes through our purchasing and we get all the proposals back, we assign committees over 3 reviewers. And these are 3 reviewers, they each one independently review these proposals back, and they send their scores to purchasing David Thornton. And they are,
Individually, they send their scores?
yes.
Okay.
And so basically purchasing is, they have the formula and they enter these scores and they come up with final score, and they see who was the highest, score highest. I know in some occasions, sometimes maybe you will have 2 vendors with the same score. So now it comes back again, how do you choose one over another? Obviously past experience with the company, looking at the number of projects that a company has, you know, sometimes like if a company has only 2 or 3 projects from us and one maybe have more than that. And also we ask them more questions, additional questions to these 2 engineering firms and see how they answer them back. And then we do the evaluation. So basically, sometimes it gets very hectic and lengthy process to try to pick one over another.
Okay, and I'm just gonna, I mentioned it last time. I know Banesh has done a ton of bridge work for us. Now I think they've gotten the last 5 road contracts. I think 4 or 5 engineering contracts. And they hadn't done roads before. That's why I'm just interested in the whole process and how other companies listed here, even it doesn't look like the, are we going to get a lot more engineering contracts coming this summer?
I think most of the contracts for right now are complete. And yes, we are working on the next year projects, and we're trying to determine which one we want to keep in-house, which one we want to go outside. And I can tell you, the projects like federally funded, they take a little bit more expertise, you know, because it's using the MDOT system and they have been changing from the previous system to a new system. So we are kind of rely on some of these consultants. We kind of continue that. You know, most of the consultant or all of these consultants, they have to be MDOT pre-qualified. So
Right.
when it comes to qualifications, you know, I mean, they're very competitive.
The last question I have is, as each of these projects come in, is it a different group that evaluates them each time, or is it the same group that
No,
evaluates
it's
them?
each
Every time there's new people evaluating. And they all work for the county?
These are all engineers working for the county.
And none of these engineers work for any of these companies that are
Oh, no,
bidding on it?
no, that's conflict of interest. They have to declare that, no.
Okay. All right. Questions? Anybody? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next item.
Item 17, requesting commission approval of modification 1 to a comparable source contract with PBA Holding LLC to continue providing services, including but not limited to removing and renovating bunkers at the Inkster Valley Golf Course.
All right. This is an extension for 6 months with no change in the dollar amount. Any questions on this? Next item.
Item 18, requesting commission approval of a 1-year construction services contract with the 1-year option to renew with Dance Excavating for traffic signal modernization, placing sidewalks and Americans with disabilities at compliant sidewalk ramps, placing lane line markings and signage for the Sheldon Road and 6 Mile Road intersection in Northville Township.
All right. Is someone here? I'm just curious on the date this is going to start. This is a much anticipated project in that area, let me tell you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, this is Santa County Director of Engineering. I know you're excited about this project as well as the township. So as soon as this being approved, we will definitely set up a pre-con meeting, and our goal is to start as soon as possible.
Okay, great. Thank you. I just want to tell everybody that asks.
Yeah, we do get a lot of inquiries from the township through Bob Belair, and we keep them updated on that.
Okay, thank you. All right, next item.
Item 19, requesting commission approval of amendment 2 to a 2-year cooperative agreement with the 1-year option to renew with Kirk's Automotive to continue providing Napa auto and truck parts.
All right, there's no change in the dollar amount in this contract, just to continue to provide parts. Questions? Next item, please.
Item 20, requesting commission approval of a 3-year sole source purchase order with Carrier and Gable for on-demand traffic signal parts for the Department of Public Services Equipment Division.
Okay, could you also read the next item as well?
Item 21, requesting commission approval of a retroactive sole source purchase order with Carrier and Gable to pay for outstanding invoices for attenuators and traffic signal parts for the Department of Public Services Equipment Division.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
We can take this individually, but since you're all up here. Okay, who wants to start on this?
I'll start. Good morning, Scott Capewatton, Deputy Director of the Department of Public Services.
Good morning, Sue Hamoud, Deputy Corporation Counsel.
Steve Shea, Division Director of Wayne County Road Maintenance. Division.
Michelle Yancey, DPS admin.
Okay, all right, go ahead and start.
Well, I'm only here to address,
Answer questions?
well, to address the retroactive.
Oh, you are? Okay,
Yes.
all right, so let's go. All right, so this contract for over $3 million is for on-demand traffic signal parts
Correct.
from DPS.
Yes.
Straight up contract.
Yes.
Okay. Any questions on this? All right, now let's get to the next item that's already been read. This is to pay for outstanding invoices. Oh, I can't even read my writing.
For
Traffic signal
attenuators
parts.
and attenuators
In what?
and attenuators.
Yes, okay. And these were items that were needed urgently.
Yes.
Okay, so explain this. This is $500,000.
So, to this honorable body, Carrier and Gable was one of the vendors that was being investigated.
Is your mic on?
Yes, it is.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Carrier and Gable was one of the vendors that was being investigated as part of the DPS fraud incident that occurred with Kevin Gunn. And so, as we promised this body, no contracts were brought for approval for any of the vendors that were involved. We had Carrier and Gable, because they are a sole source of supplies to DPS. DPS had to use them on an as-needed basis for some supplies. I'll defer to the department to address that issue specifically. But I will let this body know that that the investigation with respect to Carrier and Gable revealed that they did not willfully intend to defraud the county. And so the contract, the retroactive contract that is before you now is to address the past supplies that the department needed to ensure public safety. And then from there, I can't get into any more specifics in an open meeting about what our negotiations with Carrier and Gable will be going forward.
But bless you.
Bless you.
But the item we just talked about, that's a new contract,
Yes.
Carrot.
Yes.
So you're comfortable with that? All right, so this, I have the question of this, because we see things come to this committee with that kind of situation where something's needed, it was emergent. So why wasn't this a emergency procurement item?
There was an wasn't there an active there was an active contract with Carrier and Gable that expired.
However, during the time, during the time that the investigation was going on, we were told to cease with proceeding with the new contract. However, to ensure the safety of our citizens, these items needed to be purchased so that we will be in compliant with MDOT. So, and since they are a sole source vendor to us, there was no other vendors to utilize to supply us with these parts that we needed to update or maintain or repair the traffic signals and the attenuators.
So was this over a long period of time?
No.
I mean, I don't see and maybe I'm wrong about the emergency procurement and
So what you're saying that you continue to purchase after the contract expired because public safety was required, for the interest of public safety to make sure the equipment was operational.
Correct.
Okay.
Commissioner.
okay. So Felicia, do you want to comment on this at all? Am I wrong in putting the two together, emergency procurement and?
Through the chair, I don't believe this is an emergency procurement
Okay.
situation. It was just a matter of the department due to the investigation holding all contract matters to the extent that they could. And now that it's been resolved as far as the investigation, they're simply bringing it to you and part of it just happens to be retroactive.
Okay,
Correct.
all right, sounds good. That's what I was just curious about. All right, questions on this? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next item.
Item 22, revision of resolution number 2024-010, Amendment 7 to a 3-year contract with the joint venture of Orchard Hilton McClement, Inc. and Hubble Roth and Clark, Inc.
Okay, so this is just a revision, right? Way behind on my iPad here. Okay, so this is just to correct. Right. Okay, any questions on this? Okay, so 2 accounts were added. That was the only change in that. We already approved this in the past.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Madam the Chair.
Yes.
I make a motion to approve item 1 to 22.
Okay.
Or-
Who supported?
So
Right,
we
we
already
have
had
a,
a motion by Commissioner Baydun.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Commissioner Baydun's using the,
So he's for,
I can't, yeah,
I will see.
mine's not working.
oh, then you'll support, I guess.
Okay, so we have a approval by Commissioner Baydun and a support by Commissioner Hedis. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. All right, any questions, comments before we vote? All right, please vote.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Motion carried.
sounds good. Okay, next item.
F, such other matters as may be properly submitted before the committee.
All right, I've heard of none. Next item.
G, public comments.
All right, anyone from the chambers that would like to address the Committee on Public Services? Okay, Madam Clerk, any emails?
No emails were received.
Anybody on Zoom that would like to address us, please give 2 minutes. If you're on the phone or if you could unmute everybody. You see anybody on Zoom with a hand up?
No one on Zoom.
All right. Okay, one more second. All right, hearing none, seeing none. We'll close public comments. Next item.
Adjournment.
All right,
Move adjournment.
all right. We have an approval and a support. We are now adjourned.